Trump orders National Guard to LA after clashes. Visit US President Donald Trump has ordered 2,000 National Guardsmen to Los Angeles to deal with unrest over raids on undocumented migrants. Trump said the troops had done a great job in the Californian city, which saw a second day of clashes between protesters and by federal agents on Saturday. Tear gas was used to disperse crowds as residents of the predominantly Latino Paramount District clashed with Immigration and Customs Enforcement (ACE) agents earlier in the day. As many as 118 arrests were made in LA this week as a result of ACE operations, including 44 on Friday. California Governor Gavin Newsom has condemned the raids as cruel. Trump criticized the city's Democratic governor and mayor in a post on his Truth Social platform, calling them incompetent. He also said protesters would no longer be allowed to wear masks. Newsom said the federal government's takeover of the National Guard was purposefully inflammatory and would only escalate tensions. The National Guard is usually called by a state's governor, but Trump has used a provision that allows him to take control himself, Newsom's office told the AP news agency. Trump had earlier hit out at the governor on social media, saying that if he and LA Mayor Karen Bass could not do their jobs, then the federal government will step in and solve the problem, riots and looters, the way it should be solved, end quote. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth later threatened to mobilize active duty Marines if violence continued, saying troops at nearby Camp Pendleton were on high alert, and Newsom described this threat as deranged behavior. The Paramount District had calmed considerably late on Saturday evening, but clashes between protesters and law enforcement were still happening. Outside the Home Depot hardware store, where the protests first erupted, the air was thick with tear gas and smoke. LA County sheriffs fired flashbangs and tear gas every few minutes to try to clear protesters away. Neighbors and protesters said migrants were locked inside local businesses, afraid to come out. Paramount's population is more than 80% Hispanic. A White House press release said, quote, "In recent days, violent mobs have attacked ICE officers and federal law enforcement agents carrying out basic deportation operations in Los Angeles, California." The statement added that California's feckless Democrat leaders had abdicated their responsibility to protect citizens, why President Trump has signed a presidential memorandum deploying 2,000 National Guardsmen, end quote. Speaking in Los Angeles, where he had traveled to personally supervise the continuing ICE operations, Trump's border czar Tom Homan warned that there would be zero tolerance, end quote, of any violence or damage to private property. In a post on X, FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino also issued a warning to protesters, quote, "You bring chaos and we'll bring handcuffs. Law and, quote,